I don't believe in using ethnic tensions to put forward this debate. I don't think that's quite fair. Really, I believe in debating the motion at hand here. The motion is not this House finds page 3 archaic. The motion is not this House dislikes page 3. It's not this House differs in opinion to the 3 million Sun readers who buy the paper, read the paper every day. If it were, then I might be on the opposite side of this debate. This debate is about a ban on page 3, a heavy-handed, blunt instrument to stop people doing what they want with their bodies and stop the free press publishing what those women want to do with their bodies. Prohibition is what it is, which we've seen work so well before with drugs and alcohol. This is a chunk of the notion of free speech, and it's an entire debasement of the idea of consumer choice. Down the memory hole with it is what they want. No, this is about freedom versus authority. This is about more than a ban. It is about people moralizing at you, wagging their fingers at you sententiously, at the white van man, at the office bot, at whoever the Sun's demographic may be, and saying, we know best, we know better than you, we're better than you, and we're telling you you can't have this. It can't be printed and you can't see it. It takes the worst of the self-righteous left, and it takes the worst of the moralizing right, and it pushes them together in this, behind this kind of idea of boobs isn't news, boobs aren't news. It's a classic way to strawman an argument. Boobs aren't news, we know that. Nobody's ever claimed that. We all agree on that. But this is a deceptive slogan. It's a very deceptive slogan because it attempts to mask the severe authoritarian nature behind this campaign. It is a fact that this is liberalism versus conservatism. And actually, probably for the first time in my life, I'm not the conservative on the platform. This is the conservative side of the platform. These are the social conservatives who say you must not be seen naked, you must not take your clothes off, you must not do what you want with your own body. On this issue, the liberals and the left, and even many self-described libertarians, have lost their way. Today, I think, I hope, I'm with you guys. And I say that because a recent British social attitude survey showed that young people in Britain were more likely to be socially liberal or socially libertarian than their parents or their grandparents' generation. It's the live and let live philosophy. As long as you're not harming me, as long as you're not threatening me, as long as you're not doing any damage, do what you want with your own body. Sell it to the papers if you want to. The other side are the arch-social conservatives, which is bemusing to me, to say the least. I mean, if we ask ourselves genuinely, who over the course of the last 2, 3, 4 decades would have been against page 3? Who would have wanted those women to cover up? It's not the liberals. It's not free-thinking people. It's the social conservatives. People of a socially conservative disposition would be there. And indeed, it does really upset me that the week after the World Economic Forum's Gender Equality Report comes out and shows us as one of the most gender equal countries in the world, we can sit here and try to dictate to women what they can and can't do with their bodies. This is the eventuality, of course, of a ban that they're proposing, with the intermediate steps being Orwellian diktats against page 3 or against the Sun itself. Just as a sidebar on this, I'm bemused because they say no bare boobs. Of course, you could probably see cleavage, you could probably see side boob, you could probably see under boob, whatever, but there's something about the nipple that they find very, very distressing. I don't get that. It's very Freudian, but I mean, it's a debate for another time. Look, across the world, women are fighting for their rights. In Saudi Arabia, to drive. In Pakistan and in India, rape is basically tacitly approved by a male-dominated environment. And here, in Britain, in 2013, we're telling women, no, you can't voluntarily pose for a newspaper. You must cover up. Those nipples are far too alluring. Men will go crazy and rape everything in sight. This is demonstrably untrue. And the fact that you can use violence without actually proving either way that page 3 leads to any sort of violence is deeply distressing to me. And it's insulting to every single man, be it your father, your brother, your uncle, your grandfather. You think these people are looking at page 3, getting throbbing hard-ons and going out and raping? It's ridiculous. Look, there is proof on the other side. There is proof on my side that actually, in countries where there was no access to nudity, to the female form, to pornography even, rape statistics were higher than after pornography was introduced. The blue balls theory, write it down because I'm not going to explain it, the blue balls theory of terrorism shows how young men who are not shown the female form, who have no interaction with females, have a higher likelihood of entering into that mindset, that what's called a rape culture mindset, than anyone who hasn't seen those. The argument for prescribing page 3 on this basis just doesn't stack up. It's not porn, it's a nude, which you can see in a gallery, which you can see in movies, 12 rated movies, which you can see basically see on MTV, sans the nipple. Now, I would say that it's actually much worse to see Miley Cyrus gyrating on Robin Thicke's crotch than it is to see Samantha from Dagenham on page 3. But would this house ban that? Would they ban the MTV Music Awards? I'm not arguing, by the way, that the Sun thinks it's doing any great favours towards women in this regard. I don't think they're taking a philosophical standpoint on it. Well, you'd agree with that. I don't think they are, and I don't think anybody's going to make that case. But it is an eventuality. Around the world, women are removing their shirts in protest. Femen is a popular and well-known female protest group where women take their shirts off, write slogans across their bodies, and protest against the gender inequality. It is railing against the socially conservative establishment. Now, if we are to believe that for some reason the Sun is using an archaic way to put women in their place, we must consider where and when page 3 emanated from. It was from the late 60s and 70s, post-women's lib, post-universal suffrage, post the swinging 60s. It's not the product of an establishment that seeks to objectify women. It is the eventuality of women exercising the rights they fought for. Because we don't want to be held back. We want to do what we can do, what we want to do with our bodies, what we feel we should be able to do if it's our choice. To use government force or student union force for any kind of prescriptive or prohibitive measure is to spit in the face of those women who exercise their rights as human beings. It spits in the face of classical liberal values, and it spits in the face of the freedom of the press. I agree with this side that it's not nice to have one's daughters or loved ones be page 3 girls. It's not great that kids should be able to open page 3, it's the Sun, and see page 3. But this isn't Saudi Arabia. We don't believe in covering our women up, especially if they don't want to be covered up. If individual shop owners and supermarkets and the like want to remove page 3, and the Sun, rather, from their shelves, then fine. I'm all for that. That's what liberalism's about. But when it comes to the point about banning something, banning it, that's where I part terms, as somebody of a conservative mindset, where I part terms with the authoritarian people on my side of the debate. Because this is what the Vladimir Putins are doing to the Pussy Riots of the world. This is what the Iranian president did this week when he banned a major reforming newspaper in Iran. Banned. So when considering how you side on this debate today, consider the motion on hand very carefully. The motion is to ban page 3. And do you want to do that, or do you want to discourage its prevalence, like I do, discourage its existence, like I do? The two are not the same. And for that reason, I think you should vote with us. in disagreement with the principle, but in defence of the freedom. Thank you.